And we got another story of matriarchal abuse.
Yes. For those of you who haven't heard, uh, and I mean like literally heard too, but some audio of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard just was released, and it doesn't paint Amber Heard, or doesn't portray Amber Heard as the victim as she's been asserting these last couple of years, I believe. And I dare say it's damning. It's damning because
it doesn't look good.
she basically is. She basically said, she basically admitting that she has beaten Johnny Depp and has thrown things at him, and she definitely is more revealed to be an emotional manipulator. One thing is when she's being particularly antagonistic towards Johnny Depp, he would actually leave the room because he doesn't want to fly off the handle and do something he's going to regret. But she doesn't want that to happen, or for some reason she doesn't want for some reason she doesn't allow it to happen, and so she would just keep following him room to room and constantly antagonizing him, poking the bear as it were. Um, and he basically says oh, I leave the room so it doesn't become a crime scene. Essentially saying oh, you keep pushing me, I'm gonna respond back. And it does lend a lot of credence to what Johnny Depp has been saying. How I never touched her. There's this one part where she kind of mocks him for complaining about getting hit, and then she was saying how oh, well, you hit me all the time, and it's and then Johnny Depp just replies back no, I pushed you away. Basically saying he was responding physically because she was attacking him first, and it wasn't even it was less than proportional because all he did was kind of shove her off of him so that he can just kind of walk away and gain some space.
Yeah, it's the thing is he does anything worse. He's got a cop's knee in his back because they never those domestic
they keep talking
automatically
about how women have no rights or whatever. It's well, a woman, all she has to say is he hit me, and then he's got uh, a knee in his back and a police issue loafer on his neck.
Well, and that's the other thing is automatically in those situations, the guy's the one that gets arrested, not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when they didn't do anything.
Yeah, but I think what's the most infuriating thing about this is that now there's this hashtag going around justice for Johnny. But it's being used by people who are calling for his head.
Yeah, that's the worst. No, hey man, I'm so sorry that I no apology to him. And now all of a sudden they're they have his back. Yeah, right.
Right.
It's just but remember, we got to believe all women.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Before we started streaming, I was watching this playback from a live stream, done by some women who are kind of within the geek realm. They're into Star Wars and fantasy and things like that. And they were talking about this, And it's like they're talking about how this is the world of hashtag believe women, and
Yeah.
and one of them, and I think one of them is a mother of two boys, and she was saying like, yeah, I'm afraid for my boys because like she's a I'm afraid that some bitch is gonna scream rape or abuse against my sons, and they're not gonna have any recourse. That it's just gonna be taken it's just gonna be taken as gospel, and like it's their job to prove their innocence, rather than the other person's job to prove their guilt.
Yeah. Well, it's like you're seeing that now. Like, there's so many of these, fucking kangaroo courts that are,
Oh,
um,
I'm sorry, but just really quickly, that reminded me of the story about, I think it was a Columbia student where I think back when like his like freshman or sophomore year, like he was at this event, and this girl was like being kind of sloppy and just like all over him, and um, trying she was trying to get the D. But she was being like so like emotional and like just not not that sexy drunk, that just that sloppy kind of drunk.
yeah,
And so he had the wherewithal of recording the incident, and she's like saying like, "Oh man, it's like I want to suck your dick and da 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 da," but he's like, he's and you know and he was trying to exit the room, but then she's like emotionally manipulating him and started crying. It's like, "Oh, how could you leave me and then in this state and but he ultimately didn't do the deed, or I think, or did he? Anyways, fast forward to him graduating. This girl comes out and says that he sexually assaulted her or whatever, and the college rescinds his degree. Like it's like no longer valid, even though he has evidence exonerating him that he didn't assault her, he didn't he didn't touch her, or if they did hook up, it was consensual. Like he has evidence of it, he has the receipts, as the kids like to say. But the university still went ahead and rescinded the degree.
wow. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Right?
And the
So
thing is, well, it's the crazy thing is, why you start to see that most of this stuff that I'm not saying it's 0%, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of these cases that are complete bullshit, especially these really famous cases like Mattress Girl and Duke Lacrosse and,
mhm.
all these like famous cases that turn out to be complete horseshit.
Or Virginia Tech.
But yeah, Virginia Tech, another one. And you have these guys, okay, well, they have these kangaroo courts at the school. Well, then they go and like they sue these schools and they win because they're right. They were not given any due process. The thing that I would look, but like a lot of times is, through these court cases, when they get like when they have like settlements that come out of it, they're kind of stricken from like being able to share like what happened. Like that'd be one thing where it's like, no, 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 we're gonna make this public. Like I don't, I don't even care if I get like any money out of this. I want to make sure that you guys hurt off of this.
Right, like
You
yeah,
know,
it's
it's
like it's not about the money, it's about making a statement and making it stick.
yeah, yeah. Like I personally, like I don't care if the money goes to me, but I want to bankrupt these institutions for doing this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It's like they have to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, kind of
And
like similarly with like the whole Nick Sandman thing about like how he was. I mean, even though there are like all these other boys, like he was like the face of this non thing with like him and like CNN saying how like
yeah, oh,
that
I hope he
he and his
bankrupts all this.
friends like
I
harassing
want. I,
was that?
I hope he wins all those
Oh
cases
no, he
and
did. They
hurts.
settled out. They settled out, and I hope it's a huge fucking check. I hope.
Yeah, well, and but they're not done because there's a whole like says because he started now he won one of these cases. Now it's like it's going down the line, and I
Right?
hope that
Yeah.
he wins those cases
Yeah. I hope he takes a fucking ton of flesh from these motherfuckers.
as he should because the thing is
Yeah,
like
I know they
he didn't.
basically ruined his life. He like after like he became like the face of white supremacy. There was no way any school in the country would touch him.
No,
It'd be a miracle
of
if like
course
the local community college would take him.
I know that's the crazy thing,
Yeah,
and
that's how fucking widespread. Like especially like with the outfits like with CNN, like even though like most of their stuff is played in like airports and gyms, people are still gonna see it, and then they're gonna think, oh, it's on CNN, so I'm just gonna trust it.
I mean, God, good luck finding a job either. Because as soon as they like, look up his name, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to be associated with this guy.
Right? Exactly.
He might not get a job till he's 30 because of that. If
If right, but I mean, uh, if the checks are as fat as I hope they are, he won't have a problem.
But the thing is, like, the damage is already done with him, which is, because the media moves on, from their outrage and they move on to something
Right, right,
else
right,
to
right. Yeah.
destroy. Um, but the thing is, I hope that through doing this, any like not only the CNN as an organization, but all the blue check Twitter people that were calling for his name, all the CNN and news reporters that were doing this. I hope that they all pay, and that eventually that the next time that this happens, it doesn't happen.
Man, you know what? It's a really twisted fantasy, but what would be really awesome is like from all of his like lawsuits, like he had enough money to buy CNN and then he shuts it down.
That would be fantastic.
Right? Like not just like rebrand
Oh,
it, just shut it down.
it's over. Bye. You're all fired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the payouts are gonna get like accumulate to like even close to what was someone would like give up CNN for, but just in a really wonderful kind of fantasy like wish fulfillment sort of thing. It's like yeah, he gets enough money where he can buy CNN and then just shuts it down.
Oh, that would
Oh,
be. Oh, that'd be great. Oh my gosh, that would be
oh.
great.
See now that's funny, Don Lemon. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, man. It's scary to think about. Like no, we don't need any more due process. We need action, and we had to believe all women. It's like, yeah, you know what? I don't believe all women. I think a lot of them are manipulative bastards. Just like there's a lot of guys that are like that too.
Manipulative cunts. Manipulative cunts.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, that's why, like, in a lot of ways, I just stopped associating with a lot of them. It's just because I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, but I mean, if it goes too far, then you get MGTOW, and nobody wants to be associated with them either.
No, I mean, well, I have a decent situation going on now, so I don't
Well,
I
yeah, I
don't
mean, you're
really.
you're you're yeah, you're set, okay. But for the single fellas like myself, we just have to be more discerning, is all.
Yeah, and maybe that's a good thing, I guess. It's kind of like the way the things have been. It's like it's almost like they're becoming more of like a conservative value it's weird.
Um, I mean, I'm a huge believer in like, finding like. So, but even if then, but even if that's not the case, more often than not, a liberal woman will be, come conservative because of a conservative man than a conservative man becoming a liberal because of a liberal woman.